The Ohio State Buckeyes football are once again right in the middle of the recruiting spotlight this spring, and one of the biggest storylines involves a five-star offensive line prospect who could have a massive impact on the future of the program. Head coach Ryan Day and his staff are preparing for a critical recruiting moment as elite offensive lineman Maxwell Hiller is scheduled to visit Columbus on April 1. This visit could play a major role in determining where one of the most highly sought-after offensive line prospects in the country eventually commits. Hiller, a standout from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, has quickly become one of the most talked-about players in the 2026 recruiting class. Standing out as the top interior offensive lineman in the nation, his combination of size, strength, and technical ability has made him a priority target for several powerhouse programs. Schools like Florida Gators football, Alabama Crimson Tide football, and Tennessee Volunteers football are all heavily involved in the race, making this one of the most competitive recruiting battles in the country right now. For Ohio State, landing a player like Hiller would be extremely significant. While the Buckeyes have consistently brought in elite talent at positions like quarterback, wide receiver, and defensive back, the offensive line has sometimes lacked that one transformational prospect who can anchor the entire unit for years. The Buckeyes have certainly developed strong linemen in the past, including standout players such as Paris Johnson Jr. and Josh Simmons, both of whom helped maintain Ohio State's reputation for producing NFL-level talent. However, when fans think about truly legendary offensive linemen associated with the program, one name still stands above the rest: Orlando Pace. Pace dominated college football during his time in Columbus and set the standard for what an elite offensive lineman can become at Ohio State. Recruiting a player like Maxwell Hiller could potentially bring that same level of dominance back to the Buckeyes' offensive front. During the 2025 season, Ohio State remained competitive, but there were moments when the offensive line struggled to consistently control the line of scrimmage against strong opponents. Late in the season, matchups against tough defenses exposed some weaknesses, especially when the team needed its offensive line to take over games in critical moments. That experience likely reinforced the importance of continuing to recruit elite talent in the trenches. Coaches understand that championship teams are often built from the inside out, and having a dominant offensive line can completely change the trajectory of a program. That's why Hiller's upcoming visit is such a big opportunity for Ryan Day and his coaching staff. Spring visits are often one of the most important parts of the recruiting process because they give players the chance to experience a program up close. During his trip to Columbus, Hiller will likely tour the facilities, spend time with the coaching staff, watch spring practices, and meet current players. These experiences allow recruits to get a real feel for the culture and environment of the program. For Ohio State, the goal will be to show Hiller that he could become a centerpiece of the Buckeyes' future offensive line and develop into one of the best players in the country. The staff knows that beating out programs like Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee will not be easy, but Ohio State's tradition, resources, and national exposure still make it one of the most attractive destinations in college football. Recruiting battles for five-star prospects often come down to relationships, development opportunities, and how well a program can present a vision for the player's future. If Ohio State can convince Hiller that he could become the next great offensive lineman to emerge from Columbus, the Buckeyes might be able to gain serious momentum in his recruitment after the visit. Even though the competition remains fierce, the upcoming trip gives Ryan Day and his staff a valuable chance to make a strong impression and potentially move up the list of Hiller's preferred schools. For Buckeyes fans, this is definitely a recruiting story worth watching over the coming weeks. A commitment from a prospect of Hiller's caliber could strengthen Ohio State's offensive line for years and help the program continue competing for championships at the highest level. Recruiting momentum during the spring often shapes the direction of an entire class, and landing a player like Maxwell Hiller would send a strong message across college football that Ohio State remains one of the premier destinations for elite talent. If you enjoy college football updates and recruiting news like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Ohio State football coverage. We'll continue bringing you breaking news, recruiting updates, and in-depth analysis of the biggest stories surrounding the Buckeyes and the world of college football.